Least have been lit, and the only question is whether or not they'll be allowed to explode. Iran is ordering a direct hit on Israel. Hezbollah is stepping up its aggression on the Jewish state after one of their rockets killed 12 children. So is an all-out war inevitable? Well, Thane Rosenbaum is a distinguished professor at Touro University and author of the book Saving Free Speech from Itself. Harley Lippman is a foreign policy expert. And I know as a parent you're not supposed to have favorites, but everyone knows these two are like my favorites. So anyway, Israel, they responded forcefully with an airstrike in Beirut, which killed one of Hezbollah's top leaders. And then the political leader of Hamas was assassinated in Tehran, although Israel hasn't admitted to that one, wink, wink. Thane, is Israel justified in these actions, and what are the repercussions going to be?
So always in these areas of tit for tat, what's required is what's called a proportionate retaliation. That doesn't mean Israel was entitled to kill 12 Lebanese children, but they did have a right under international law, international humanitarian law, to retaliate in a way to what's called established deterrence, to send a message to the other side that we saw what you just did and we are going to stop it with this attack. Israel got everyone's attention, right? They killed a Hezbollah leader in Beirut and the head of Hamas during the inauguration of the Iranian president in Tehran in a heavily guarded compound. So clearly a message was sent. The message I think that Americans should be thinking, if you let the Israelis do what they do, they can end this. If Joe Biden continues to hold their hand and stop them, that's why they've been in a 10-month conflict. If I was Iran, I would be worried now. They can march all they want. But remember, Iran fought a stalemate 10 years with Saddam Hussein. 10 years to a stalemate. We took out Saddam Hussein in 3 weeks. Iran without their proxies is nothing.
So, Harley, let me pick up on that. How dangerous are the next 6 months for Israel when the United States has a lame duck, mentally challenged president and his anti-Israel vice president, who's running for president, is trying to appease her pro-Hamas hard left base?
Well, I think these are one of the reasons why this is happening now. If you look at, I'm gonna pivot to something related to that, but Erdogan of Turkey threatened to invade Israel. It was done a day or 2 days after Kamala Harris gave the sharp response to Bibi Netanyahu that we will not be silent, to kind of make a point that she's going to be more outspoken and critical of Israel than even Biden is. And the great fear of our community is that Kamala Harris will hold back weapons, and that would be extremely damaging to Israel. But I think going back to the earlier discussion about message sent, I want to go there for a little bit because I think this is really significant. Because one, the Israeli military was humiliated on October 7th. They were surprised, and Hamas was successful. And by that happening, that demonstrated in the Arab world, which respects strength above all, weakness. And that's a big factor as to why there's been so many proxy nations attacking Israel. Also, there's a presidential election. They see that we're distracted, a lame duck president. So why I'm saying all this is that what Israel did recently restored the credibility of the IDF and their intelligence services, because what they did was extraordinary. I mean, you think about it, as your colleague here just mentioned, they took out the #2 leader in Hamas in the Iranian capital, Tehran, in a safe place, on the when they're inaugurating the president of Iran, which was considered to be one of the most highly guarded places in all of Iran. And it's unclear how they did it, but this has been an extreme embarrassment to the Iranian regime in terms of an intelligence failure. This should have been probably the most protected place in all of Iran. And yet Israel was able, with extraordinary effectiveness and stealth, and there's debates about how they did it. Some say a missile, if they did it, they're denying it, but wink, wink, as you said. So whether it be a missile that went right into his bedroom, and the next bedroom is the head of Islamic Jihad. They didn't touch him. Meaning the point is that they're making to Iran and Hezbollah is that We could hit you anywhere. We hit you in both capitals, Beirut and Tehran, and we could do it at the same time, meaning that even if both of you gang up on Israel, we're ready for you.
Well, hopefully Americans can connect the dots between what a very unstable Middle East, what an Israel under attack, and what it means to have our useful idiots, as Netanyahu said, in our streets here in our country, and what that all means for everybody. Harley Littman and Thane Rosenbaum, was quick, but I appreciate you both coming on.
Thanks, Rob.
Thank you.
All right. Up next, 2 former Secret Service agents will give their assessment on what did and didn't happen 3 weeks ago in Butler, PA. You keep it right here. And don't forget, folks, stay with us for former President Trump's rally in Atlanta, Georgia. Our coverage here on Newsmax